Hi, I'm Faye Holt, and I'm here to talk with you about setting a game. Congratulations to all of you who worked on a story over the past while and worked on the setting. So I hope today I can help you with some more ideas about setting. Some ask, do you have to work on setting in every story? Well, it's hard for me to imagine a story that you don't work on setting. It might be possible, certainly it might be. But historical stories, realistic stories, fantasy stories, science fiction stories, horror stories can be very dependent on setting. And with horror stories, we all have read or seen those stories where it's a dark place that somebody walks into, or a very unfamiliar location that someone is walking into, and that creates suspense in the story. Theater groups do a lot with setting too. They change the scene quite frequently, and in film and movies we see different settings. The big concept is the setting, and they're working with changing scenes, constantly changing the scenes. Here we have a dinosaur with no setting around it at all. It's a sculpture, but it could be scary if we think about the teeth, but not near as scary as if we saw it in a setting, whether it's other animals around it or something else that's happening there. Then that dinosaur could be even more threatening. And in particular, you might be thinking about the time travel stories. With the bottom one, we have another dinosaur sculpture at the Tyrrell Museum in Drumheller, and they are certainly working with setting. They have all these rocks here. There are a couple babies, the trees behind, and they are realizing if you can picture the animal in its setting, it will be easier for us to understand things about it. So setting is important even in museums. This one is a lovely castle. We can think readily of the adventure stories that might happen around castles, the historical stories around them. And we can imagine the rooms, we can imagine whatever might be happening around that castle. But sometimes things don't really fit together unless you're working with magic or time travel or a dream. For instance, the Red Cross cow would not belong in this or around this castle. It just is too discordant, too different in time. So you can flip back and forth in time, but that is difficult. And the difficult part about it is making a smooth transition from one to the other. So for the most part, it is easier writing if you choose your setting and you stay with the things that are true to that time and place. I did a book on prairie fires. And this is a picture of a canola field, absolutely stunning when it's in bloom. The other picture is Cheek Mountain. And we're looking across the prairies to the mountain, very beautiful scene. However, if a prairie fire started in these places and people had to come and fight those fires, it would be totally different. It would be very dramatic. But the prairie fires happen on the prairies. They're quite different from forest fires. And so your setting can make a difference in terms of the type of story that you tell. A set designer worked on this, and it was actually in a sports store. It's a cougar, or in the US, it's called a mountain lion. Very realistic looking. My gosh, it's just great. Now, if you were to meet it on a hiking trail, it would be enormously scary. and often they are in the trees off the hiking trail or somewhere hidden. And so the setting helps make it the story that evolves and that becomes very scary, because it might leap out from the trees at something or someone. So again, setting provides us so much opportunity for great stories. The setting can be challenging, as some of them that I showed you, or it can be comfortable, such as setting something in a home or someplace that is very familiar to the writer. So it doesn't have to be scary. It can also be a very comfortable thing. And what you might give some attention to now is trying to write a scene. So the setting is the larger concept: time, place, status quo, and culture. The scene is some part of that where something might be happening. So good luck with that. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you enjoy this series sponsored by the Rosé Foundation and the Young Alberta Book Society. And keep writing. It's a very important thing to do.